it's rarely talked about that they also got some of the best trade in the game. And here we go. Game number 2 in our first set of the day. We got 3DB playing as the Orange Mongols here on Prairie. On the opposite side, we have Recon playing as the Blue Malians.
Yeah, already you can see he's got that front forward gold mine. Not a great thing to see right off the bat when you're that Mali player. But if you're 3DB fans, that is exactly what you want. Helps him pressure, knows exactly where you're going to want to be trying to get some aggression down. He is chopping on the tree, and let's see what he plans for that if he's going to end up planning on that barracks.
That forward gold is really, really awkward for Recon. Makes me think that maybe he's just gonna go for the trade network landmark rather than anything else here, because it gives you a free outpost with an emplacement with 5,000 HP. So, 5 times the HP that you would get with a reinforced outpost. That's definitely an option here for him, just to be able to defend that. And yeah, it's gonna be a question. I think that's probably a better option here than the what's the other one?
Mansaquari.
The one that gives you resources.
Mansaquari.
Yeah, the Mansaquari that gives you like resources passively.
People do love their passive resources. Just, something can't be said for how just much that gives you over the course of a game. But we already see the barracks coming down for B. Most likely going to get some archers across. And I like that it was a minimal investment into the houses so far for Recon, as, building 6 out there might have just been free resources that he's given over to 3DB if this tower rush comes in.
Yeah, and he still has villagers on wood, so there's likely going to be a barracks here from Recon coming out in order to pump out some Donzos, which is also a pretty good response. It means that you're still going to be able to go for that Mansaquari. Having your own units out as well is also really nice. And Donzos are just really strong overall. They get +1 bonus melee armor, and they have a ranged attack every now and then. And so if Recon is able to mass enough of them, he should be able to deal with the outpost rush that's going to be coming out here from B.
Yeah, the only thing that is my concern is Recon. He's spending full resources on those Donzos, whereas B, he's got that stone to double produce, and so could potentially, have a similar age up timing to feudal than what would be expected, as that's sometimes a concern. The first Vil is actually burning down the pit mine, and the spears come to join on in. We got 3 torches working, about to have another one coming as well.
Yeah, this is going to be really tough. I mean, we already see that B has a lot of spearmen out in the field. Only the first one coming out for Recon right now. And, I mean, that's just what the double production from the Mongols gets you. It's really, really nice. And they also don't have to invest any wood into houses, meaning that they can get that barracks up earlier. So the early mass is definitely going to be in favor for the Mongols, usually. Recon is also floating a lot of wood right now. I'm not quite sure. Maybe he just wants to repair the pit mine, which definitely makes sense. He should be able to repair it with his own Donzos as a defense. I'm just wondering right now why the villager is burning down the pit mine. Why there's no outpost coming up right now from B. I mean, he doesn't have the resource for it right now, but still, you would expect an outpost coming up from the Mongols.
Yeah, the 3 Donzos, they've just been focusing down that villager this whole time. The villager, as you mentioned from Recon, he comes up and he actually clicks to mine it instead of rebuild it, and it's going to give the burn damage over.
And there's the 25 resources, both gold and food. And actually, B pulls 2 more villagers. Maybe he forgot that he pulled a villager forward, and it was because it was attacking, it wasn't idle.
I mean, that might have been the case. The villager now does start to rebuild. The spears starting to focus in on the Donzos.
Villager finally started repairing.
Still, though, what this could allow is the repair to then immediately give the burn resource gold over again.
Oh, Recon has no wood right now. He can't repair further.
Oh no! B notices. All he needs is 1 more torch and it's gone.
So tough right now. Now he has the wood again, but Donzos also cost more wood than normal spearmen. It's really tough to afford both of these things right now. Both the Donzos and the repair on the pit mine. Outpost about to be finished.
Both players taking some good damage. Donzo's stepping up. 1 Vil goes down, but Donzo's so many, it looks like are gonna end up falling. outpost gets finished. Low health spearmen jump inside immediately, and this turns the tide of this fight so much. This early game now, B has actually he didn't lose a Vil.
He didn't lose a villager. It was a spearman. The spearmen looked like they were about to, or the Donzos rather, they looked like they were about to jump on the villager, but then they didn't. And right now, I mean, Recon, he has a lot of resources still in the bank, so he could go up to next age sometime soon here. But still, this has been hurting him a lot. My personal opinion on this matchup is that you don't even go for like your own Donzos, or at least you don't invest too many into them. You just go for your own outpost there.
And I mean, the wood line, is he denied off of wood right now because the houses are starting to go down? Once his house, he's housed right now.
He is housed, and this is going to be very, very hard for him. I mean, there's still a lot of wood lines around his TC there on this map. But still, it's very hard to get wood right now. And look at that. B, he's getting so many resources for free out of killing these houses. And he's going to be able to just age up right now as well. Deerstone's actually with 12 villagers. That's a B age up.
The Deerstones, though, look at the market location. I guess he just doesn't even want to worry about dealing with trade. Wants to get, and I will say sometimes you see the Deerstones come out and then you'll still see a market drop later on. But usually you want some way to give yourself an eco boost.
It makes a little sense going for the Deerstone still, right? Like, especially in a map like this, having a ton of movement speed on your villagers can be really important when raids come in. Like, these villagers are going to be having 1.5 tiles per second movement speed together with Wheelbarrow, and they're going to be able to just zoom around the map, like absolutely zoom. So if there's going to be raids coming in, it's going to be very tough for Recon to find any value there. And look at that, B immediately queues Wheelbarrow as well.
My big concern is just if B continues to deny Recon's big wood lines that he can move out to. Look at where the next wood lines are. He's chopping on stragglers still that are far out, and the next wood lines are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they are very far out, so it's going to be tough for Recon to actually secure any of them. Going to be a question, if he were to secure them, with what would he secure them? Just outposts or military? Always difficult, but right now from B, we're not really seeing an expansion when it comes to like production buildings. Instead, it looks like he potentially is just going to go for a second TC here.
Textiles being invested into by Recon.
Could be that he just wants to burn the outpost with villagers if he gets textiles now.
And just oh, yep, there it is. The Donzo pull.
The Donzo's first.
Villager goes down from the outpost. A huge fallback, and he might end up picking up one more. Yep, picks up another villager.
2 villagers down, but Spearman at least going down now, and Recon finally secures his gold again.
Couple more of these spear circle.
If he gets a pit mine out, then that's pretty much equivalent to having like 2 villagers all the time working, so losing 2 villagers there, not the worst, not the worst. Could be much worse, but it is going to be a second TC from B from the looks of it. 700 wood in the bank, so he's going to be in an excellent way to scale off of this now. An excellent
just now getting double broad axe. I feel like this TC could have come down so much earlier. He's had enough for that for a while, but even still, second TC going to be able to go down in no time at all, and Recon doesn't really have a ton of banked resources up for like a castle age here soon, but we look away for a minute or two and he will be able to push back those spearmen and finally has his eco able to breathe again.
Yeah, it looks like B didn't watch the how to 3TC naked quickly as Mongols guide from me, but yeah, this is going to be the second TC, and I mean, second TC with Mongols on this map is also really, really nice, right? You get the TC that you can just move around, basically. Get your mobile outpost that you can pack up and build up again, and
do I see a market in the corner as well?
It could be. It could very well be. I mean, you don't need the... Can't just immediately... Yeah, there it is. It is going to be a market.
So it makes perfect sense now. So B turned all that aggression into double eco investment. I love it. Recon, he doesn't scout out the trade yet, doesn't spot out the market. He's looking at the Uvu. He sees the barracks, and I'm wondering if he's about to see, sees the Deerstones as well. And this could just be the perfect bait that B was wanting.
He didn't check the market, though. He didn't go all the way to the corner, so he doesn't know about the market. This is a perfect bait here now for him. Recon still has a lot of military out on the field, has a lot of gold as well. Question is Recon just gonna go for like a fast castle age now behind this? But B, he's dropping down 3 archery ranges now.
Yep, triple range, going to be able to produce a good amount. It's still producing up those traders behind this as well. And eco numbers, we're going to blink in a little bit. And all of a sudden, Recon, all those passive resources that the Mali get, they're not going to matter too much if your opponent's ahead, 25 villagers and 10 traders.
Recon, he still has a ton of wood income right now. I'm wondering if maybe if he just sends a lot of them over to food, he could get a really good timing in on his own castle age. But it's getting really dangerous timing-wise, and now he's actually adding in archers. I think archers are so hard to mass on this map, because wood is just so hard to come by. And it's very easily raidable. This feels dangerous, especially when you play up against the Mongols, which can for one double produce and move their TC to cover every single wood line where they are.
Yeah, that's one of the huge benefits on this map. You saw where that second TC was. It was built right in between those next wood lines for 3DB. Getting some outposts invested into, some arrow slits down as well. And, I mean, this is looking really solid for B with that early game aggression, turning it into this eco boom behind it. And Recon hasn't invested into, actually, he doesn't have a ton on the food, so he's not planning on a castle age anytime soon.
Which is weird. He's now making a couple of javelins. Now, javelins are actually pretty nice.
He's going for cow boom.
It is a cow boom. Okay, that... Only Recon would do that, right? Only Recon would cow boom on a map like Prairie. But it makes sense. Against a secondary TC, cow boom is really good. But he's already 10 villagers behind. This is a tough spot to be in right now, if you're Recon.
What about a second TC and trade?
Second TC and trade, yeah. I mean, the scaling is going to be through the roof here for B. He's producing a lot of military units right now as well, and the economy is just looking really solid if you look at the income here right now.
Gold income is going to allow B to start producing a lot more of those Keshiks, and we talked about it last game. B loves his map control. Archer's just sniping down some of those low health Donzos from earlier on, and Javelin throwers cleaning up the archers. Recon will be able to push this back, but B has a couple Keshiks here to play now.
This was not a good trade overall, though, for B. He lost a lot of his archers and a ton of his spearmen, and right now, army count, Recon is still at 20, and B lost a lot. He lost his Khan as well, so lost a lot of the vision as well, unless he plans on making a scout now. Still investing into a really expensive army composition as well with the Keshiks right now, but he is able to afford that with the good food income that he has right now, with the trade, with the second TC. Yeah, 6 traders out already, about to be 7. And once he gets to 7, that's when the Mongol unlocks a bonus, like gets fully unlocked. Then he gets like 30% bonus resources, I think it was, from every single trip overall.
Yeah, so it's always funny to think about that. It's like, yeah, not only does that just mean you're going to have more out, but all the ones that you have out are working more efficiently. So congrats. Blacksmith upgrades getting invested into as well. More archery ranges going down, but it's javelin throwers by Recon. Very expensive unit that overkills a lot. Like, a lot.
You don't mind overkill too much, though, against a unit like the Keshik, which already has less HP than a normal knight, but it looks like B behind this might actually just be going for Castle Age. He has so many villagers on gold right now, way too many to just be like 4 Keshiks right now, since he also has a trade going. I think this could be a transition now into Castle Age, as he also went out to the boar.
I like the idea. B is one, I mean, he's got all this eco now that's turning into this military that can turn into that map control that just allows you to be so aggressive. Keshiks potentially not quite able to get that scout pick, but with the deer stones, are they able to chase down a scout?
They should have more movement speed than a scout with the deer stones, or at least, I mean, the Keshiks don't need the movement speed from the deer stones anyways, right? They're cavalry, so they get Yama aura by default. But yeah, well, there wasn't any outpost nearby, so the aura wasn't there for that long. And Recon, he does still have a good amount of military forces out there. He did bunch up a lot of them, so this could be a chance for him to potentially, like, look at that, Keshik just gone. Like, don't underestimate javelins.
I remember back in the old meta where it was all javelin throwers, but even still, you're seeing that mass. 23, about to be 30 of 30 Donzos and 30 javelins in the blink of an eye, and 3DB not yet up to the equivalent mass on his side.
Recon also has a good food income now with all of the cattle that he has been spamming, so food transition, if he goes up to Castle Age, he's immediately going to have all the cattle under his Grand Falani Corral. Could be good for him, but the timing is going to be very important here now within the next 3 minutes.
You can see it's always funny watching Molly games when you have the nice overlay at the top. You're like, oh my gosh, they're down 30 eco. This is looking so bad. And it's like, yeah, not really. With all the cows, all the passive resources, the Mansa Quarry, the pit mine, the other pit mine. I mean, Recon has a ton of resources coming into the bank, and the eco difference isn't that huge as of now, but it will start to be as you kind of have a somewhat limit until the Grand Falani boost up all that food passivity as well.
Yeah, I mean, the trade, though, it still keeps scaling behind us. Can we take a look at how many traders B has now at the moment? Yeah, there we go. We see that he's getting more and more resources out of them. 12 traders, so now he's getting a lot of resources from them. Lots of military out on the field, though, for B. 14 Kashyyyks. That's quite a big number here now.
Yeah, Recon looking like he is starting to think about that Castle Age. He's still producing units, but floating a good amount, and will be able to drop that Grand Falani in just a second. There it is.
He goes. I mean, in theory, right? Like, Malians get their veterancy bonuses or their veterancy upgrades for half the price, and at only 30 seconds, compared to, like, almost for, like, a minute.
One shot. But here comes the main engagement. Donzo's gonna hold those Kashyyyks hostage, not allow them to dive in on the jabs, but it looks like 3DB doesn't care. He's taking this fight. It is now or never. Still just chasing in, and those javelin throwers, they're able to split, able to clear up anything that they're attacking, but Archers on the backside helping in from 3DB, and looks like more blue units going down than orange.
It has to be very careful here. Now the upgrades are coming in as the H-up finishes as well. Doesn't have enough food to get the Donzo upgrade on as well, but the Javelins, the most important one, is getting queued right away, is rushing that tech up now as fast as possible. Bido, he's losing his units. He lost half his Kashyyyk numbers so far. Still doing a good bit of damage here onto the Donzos. Donzos mostly just trying to run around here, trying to run away from the Archers, while they are getting shut down by the Javelins. And now B actually has to retreat.
Yeah, B having to fall back. He was able to pick up a few villager kills, but again, that's not really what Molly's about, is the Vil kills. It's about all of those passive resources. 3DB just needs to idle out that military production for about a minute, and he'll be able to get up to Castle Age himself. And honestly, with the push, it's not the scariest coming out from Recon. 3DB should be able to defend it up pretty easily.
Yeah, the trade might get denied, but that's a beautiful thing because B invested into a second TC. That is not the only way that he scales. He's not just scaling with the trade, so it's not just deny the trade and you win. It's you have to do so much more, but look at that. The Grand Falani Corral, look at that food income right now that Recon has.
Almost up at 2,000 per minute. B having to fall back of that forward wood line. Outpost getting burnt on down, but trade still untouched for the time being.
Yeah, Recon definitely has to get in position for that sometime soon. He's floating a lot of resource right now. I'm wondering if maybe he just lacks production buildings to like transition into a unit like Sofa, for example. Like Sofa usually is a really good unit as soon as you go up with the Grand Falani Corral. Yeah, doesn't have a single stable yet. This hurts him quite a bit, I feel like. Like, look at the resource that he has. If he had like 10 Sofas here now, fully upgraded. Oh my god, he might actually lose everything here.
Oh, this timing from 3DB is perfect. Where are the Donzo? They're nowhere to be found. Even when they show up, there aren't that many anymore, and the Kashyyyk numbers pretty healthy in a sense. Fight 3DB is taking and should win easily. The Javelins being thinned out pretty heavily. 10 more Javs in queue. Recon, he just struggled with the production. You called it out exactly, and 3DB is taking advantage.
This is looking really rough. He does still kite quite nicely, and he still has a good and healthy number of Javelins. And the front line from B is actually getting thinned out quite a bit right now. Look at that. the archers are barely tickling the javelins here right now. Khan gets killed as well.
More GGs in the chat. Great kiting back from Recon. Numbers are still so heavily in B's favor. He was able to clear up a little raid on the backside, and it still looks like Recon just losing more than he is gaining here. Javelin numbers need to get remassed back up faster, but not sure if he has still massed enough production to do so.
That's a lot of overkill every time these javelins are trying to hit one of the spearmen. And Keshik numbers are still looking good. B is now also at over 2k food income. So the economy is more than even right now. And I feel like B actually with a small lead there when you look at the wood income. But now finally Recon has realized, and he is now making sofas. If he can just finally start realizing all of his, like the resource potential that he has in terms of military numbers and just spam out a lot of sofas, he'll be in a good position and be actually committing even more resource right now to the feudal age. It might be he's even getting the raid upgrade.
It's wild to think how much B's gonna be at 200 pop before he even gets close to thinking about Castle Age, and the only reason he's gonna be going Castle Age is because he can't get any more population space now.
Yeah, he's basically getting forced into going up to the next age, and
Kurultai is the choice.
I mean, you get the trade, right? You might as well go for Kurultai. And with the Kurultai, it's going to be very, very difficult here for Recon to take any fights in the range of it. Sofas now getting produced as well. A lot of them in the queue right now. I mean, if he gets some good raids in, there is still comeback potential for Recon. But the army count is getting very, very scary here.
I mean, B has just been able to produce so much. Those Keshiks are all going to be upgraded to Castle Age Keshiks, and once you get 20, I mean, those are 20 knights on the field essentially at that point, and the Sofa numbers are not where they need to be to equalize, as well as Donzo production seems to have stopped.
Yeah, no Dunzos in queue. He's just fully focused right now on units that don't cost any wood, gets a lot of these javelins out, a lot of the Sofas out, and I mean, maybe if he's able to produce enough, that could be a potential here for him. Actually get some villager kills here now, but the Keshiks are on their way, and these do have a lot of movement speed now with the Yamara.
Yeah, it looks like the Jab throwers were starting to move forward, but still not a fight that I think Recon wants to take yet, nor does 3DB. He wants to wait a couple more seconds. Upgrade's about to come through.
Oh, and here he goes. Now he's going to collapse on him, and Recon actually got himself into a pretty dicey position here right now with the positioning. Javs still don't take that much damage here, but that's going to change as soon as the upgrades come in.
Yeah, and Keshik's still able to circle. There's no more Donzo. Well, one single one, and it goes down. Recon's whole front line is now just Sofas, but those Sofas are not numerous in the same sense of those Keshiks on the other side. Looking to be in 3DB's favor, at least for now. Recon still continuing to fall on back. Javelin's getting non-stop damage in and doing well and not overkilling units because they're just spreading to different targets.
I mean, this is still very not too bad for Recon, I would say. Just because, like, the archers right now, they don't really do anything here in this because all the units that Recon is making have a ton of ranged bonus armor.
Yeah, look at the upgrades coming in for 3DB. He's got so many resources in the bank. He's gonna stay at basically 200 pop for the rest of this game with all of the production, all of the economy behind this. So that's really where it becomes scary for Recon is the numbers game.
Yeah, it's also the spearmen. Just so many spearmen right here. It takes so long for the javelins to clear out the spears, and they're just not as efficient as normal archers there in that regard. Means that the spearmen are an excellent frontline here right now for B, and Recon just can't really engage onto the units because of that. Because his Sofas can't really take the trades against the spearmen that well. And our crossbowmen are also going to be mixed in there.
Oh, Kurultai, come on! Unpack! This is just the constant Mongol struggle with the Kurultai in fights. But the key is that this fight has continued to push further and further back into Recon's base. We're starting to see some villagers on that initial pit mine starting to fall, and Recon could lose out on some other economy behind that as well if B splits like he did the game prior.
Yeah, Bido, he loses a lot of his military here. Same for Recon. It's pretty much equal right now. Kurultai finally gets deployed. I mean, there's not a big loss on either side right now, but still, the issue is that B has scaled so much right now. He probably is on like 25, 30 traders. Yeah, 35 traders right now.
I mean, he's at 141 eco just as he was the game prior, and this is just now all turning into not only military. Look at how many upgrades he has in the bank. He's literally just getting everything.
Oh, this is so tough right now. It feels like you barely damage the units here from B, while the units from B just absolutely destroy yours if you're recon. Look at that, barely any sofas remaining right now as well. Dunzo is getting reproduced again, but there's just not enough units out there. But like the economy, it's not that different right now between them. If we look at the pure income, it's like actually it is a 2k favor there overall when you look at the gold and the wood there for B, but it's really rough. It is really rough, and I feel like B behind this, he could also do a really easy transition into Imperial Age. He just needs a little bit more pastures in order to get his food income down. Recon actually did a good farm transition behind this as well, with additional farms out there on top of the cattle.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about with how little wood is on the map, how much Recon has spent that wood into all of the pastures, or not the pastures, all of the cattle ranches and the production that he needed to drop. And same thing for B though, but B has spread out so much further than Recon.
It's like every single villager you kill right now, if you're Recon, kind of helps B, because he's gone over the 140 mark, and yeah, he's still at 146 after losing like 9 villagers.
And once again, he's at 200 pop. This time though, it's not forcing him to go to castle. It's gonna force him to go to Imperial Age.
Yeah, Age coming in
and
shortly.
Recon just now realizes.
Oh wait, my opponent is Mongols. Doesn't matter what landmark he goes for, he's still gonna trade.
The White Stupa, and the White Stupa, it's gonna make all those pastures become quite a bit better, and just more than enough sheep, which means more than enough food for 3DB. He already has about, what is that, 50 sheep that look like they're waiting and waiting to be harvested.
Yeah, this is a rough position right now for Recon. B also covering for his tech up, pushing in right now. This isn't a fight that he can win, and he knows that. I feel like he's just trying to buy a little bit of time. 150 eco units, he's fully maxed out right now.
Yeah, this is the point where he needs to start transitioning those eco units into military. As you said, you know, when those villagers die, it's going to be a benefit for B, because not only will it be military, all of his is going to be way stronger. Look at the upgrades coming in yet again.
Everything immediately. Couple more sofas now on the other side of the trade. I mean, there's still overall probably like 30 traders out on the map for B, and yeah, it's...
Look at the blob for Recon. It's headed straight for the heart of that trade. But, I mean, even if all the trade goes down, it's not the worst for B, as he's got other routes to get gold. He has plenty of villagers.
He sees this. He's just gonna all in into the base of Recon. And there he goes. Yeah. This is a base trade that Recon is not gonna be happy about in the end.
Yeah, he's going to lose out on a ton of these vital eco units that he has. Like, yes, he has passive resources coming in, but you still need villagers to be doing other things. House is going to start being burnt down. And it actually looks like B's
gonna... Yeah, B wants to fight the army. And right now, Recon actually has a ton of them. A ton of units. Recon's also almost at cap.
It almost feels like he's doing the Mali Farimba Garrison, but it's not. It's just now he finally had the production he needed. He's finally been able to get the military out that he's needed this whole game.
And he's going back again. Why? He's in the middle of the map, not really doing much right now. He's not committing to anything right now, which I think is a little bit mere. Maybe he just wants to wait to get his own age up in as well.
I mean, I just feel like Mali's not that strong in Imperial Age comparative to Mongol's potential, but obviously with the armies out, if you have 120 units and you go to M, I don't care what civ you are, you can end your opponent night and day.
Yeah, he definitely wants to have the upgrades probably. It might just be a thing where he feels like he can't fight Imperial Age units with non-Imperial Age units of his own. Fort of the Hundreds is getting dropped down in the back of a space from the looks of it. Fight is getting taken beforehand though, but he can just fight this with only Donzos and the Javelins. Doesn't need to risk any of his own sofas there.
Yeah, should just be a little bit of another wipe by B's army just getting cleared on up. But again, B has 4,000 food in the bank. No Kurultai in the fight again. Raid getting cleared up. Recon dips under 100 military pop for just a second, but has a huge victory, clearing up a ton of B's army.
Yeah, now he's actually upgrading all of his javelins. Gets all the damage upgrades in there as well. I'm gonna say maybe there's a chance. I mean, Malians, if there's any civilization that can do it, it's gonna be Malians. There are games where I see people have like 50 more economic units or like villagers compared to Malians, and Malians still have more food due to the Grand Fulani Corral. Now he's fighting outside of the Kurultai range. It's just kiting back and forth for now.
Yeah, Recon's army finally starting to thin out a little bit, though. B continuing to push forward. Recon still doesn't have the upgrades in, and he has fully taken this fight. B probably realizes that this is going to be a huge victory for him. Still has all those imp upgrades in his favor.
Yeah, this is looking really rough now. He's losing his military mass. That is the one thing he cannot lose right now. Imperial upgrades finally coming in, but it's a little bit late now. He's lost like 20 javelins.
I mean, there was a second ago, he had 120 military. He's down to 40. And B, it's not like he's taking eco damage behind this. He's not going to have a problem at all with his military, which is just staying at his 200 pop overall.
Elite Sofa has also come in, though, from the looks of it. Golden Hats out there on those guys. But still, the Kashyyyks already also fully upgraded here behind this. And he's just running it in non-stop. And that's GG.
B able to take game number 2. Looked scary on both sides at multiple times, but just B shows that trade going untouched for that long is just unbeatable almost.
Yeah, it was excellent game plan there from B. He knew, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to like delay feudal age quite a bit from my opponent. He's investing into Dunzos, and I'm just going to second TC and scale further with trade. Like, that's villager graph here right now. If we look at the economy graph now, we see the cattle mix in quite a bit. They contribute quite a bit. But the economy count is just overwhelming here by B. But it also feels like, at the same time, it feels like if B stopped at 120 economy units, I think he would have been dead, actually.
Yeah,